Okay, so hey guys, it's Phantom, and welcome back, or welcome to my channel for another advice video. Or I guess just video. It's not really going to be advice, well, kinda, sorta. Well, this video is going to be talking about reasons why I feel like um, I gravitated more towards online school than, public school. Um, so this is something that I don't really talk about all that much, but I actually did public school, private school, online school. Unpause this. Okay, so this is gonna be reasons why I prefer online school over, online school or virtual school over, I guess, traditional school, like public or private school. So I actually did public school, private school, and distance learning. Um, and y'all, I didn't have the best school experience. I mean, socially I was okay, but socially I feel like I was fine. But oh my gosh, when I tell you I was struggling and stressed out, I was stressed out, y'all. Um, so I didn't have the best school experience. You may think, oh, you know, everyone has the typical school experience. Well, not everyone does. Some people, traditional school works for them, and others, online school works for them. And, seeing as I'm college age now, if I decide to do college, I'm doing it online because it's what works for me. I'm able to work at my own pace. I've always been pro virtual school, pro online school. Like when I have a family, that's how I want to educate them. It's just my preference. A lot of people say that they need social, like kids need social interaction. Well, there are ways to get social interaction, like groups and maybe theater even. I mean, I had friends that were homeschooled, and they were pretty sociable people. Um, you know, so it's fine. It's just some people prefer online school and homeschool over, like online school slash virtual school and homeschool over public or private school. Just maybe because they didn't have a good experience in school themselves, or they deal with things like, I don't know, maybe health issues, or they were stressed. They were put under a lot of stress at a young age. And I mean, things that people don't have to go through, like, for example, one reason why I feel like I didn't have the best school experience was because, I mean, I struggled a lot. I struggled a lot in my classes, and there were times that I wasn't even able to get my assignments done, and I felt so bad. I mean, it was my fault. I've, dealt with things like headaches for the majority of my life, which actually started when I was in elementary school. Mind you, it was probably third or fourth. No, it was fourth grade, I think, and it was so awful. Like I don't know what happened. I think I was stressed, but I don't, like, I didn't know what stress was when I was, in 4th grade. So I just had like debilitating headaches, and it was just really, really bad. And like I knew that this would be a prolonged thing, and it just wasn't good for me. And so, yeah, I didn't have the best school experience. Socially in school, I was fine. I mean, I'm a very introverted person just because I choose to be. But for the majority of my life, I've been dealing with, like, things that people shouldn't have to deal with at a young age. Like, stress. And by stress, I mean stress to the point where it's physically painful to, like, it's physically painful. You can't focus. You can't, do your assignments. You can't do a lot of anything, really. You're just there, and, you have to lay down and stuff. It's bad. It can get bad. Like, people may think, oh, stress isn't a part of mental health. Everyone gets stressed. It's true, everyone does get stressed, but to the point where you can't even do your, to the point where you can't even get your things done, where you can't even get your work done, or, your assignments done, or focus on a test, or anything like that. That's when it gets so bad, where it's like, maybe a traditional way of learning isn't for you. And I just knew that right away, because like, there were times in school where I would be, trying to focus, and I'd literally have to snack to make sure, like, okay, things that I had to start doing because because I had headaches, was I had to, snack a lot. It wasn't because I was hungry. Well, sometimes it was hunger related. Um, Other times I was stressed. Um, and I would eat to fight off the pain. In class, some teachers would care, others wouldn't care. It just depends. But the main things that would trigger it would be, being at a screen for too long and not taking a break, which is one thing that you can't really do when you're in traditional school. You can't necessarily take breaks. You have to, like, stare at a screen. Sometimes, I mean, some people, or some things, you're on a computer a lot, like when you're writing essays. I remember when, I was in school, for a time, I would, like, handwrite things. But, as I said, I went to a private school like, for like 5 years, and then I went to public school for, middle school and high school. And then I did online learning for the last few months of my senior year of high school. And once I got to online learning, I was able to really teach myself, and I was able to work at my own pace. It worked out for me really well. Even though people say that, it's not practical to not work in a classroom, well, people learn differently. Like, there are people that learn in a classroom, there are people that learn independently, and there are people that learn well online, which is also independent. And I got the hang of it really quickly. I got the hang of it fast, mainly because if you guys don't know this, I actually wanted to do online school in high school. Probably my freshman year. I still remember walking the halls of my high school back in freshman year after freaking out. And I mean, mainly I kind of grew up really fast in high school. I grew up so fast. I wanted to start working younger than the average person, which I mean is fine. I kind of grew up wanting to work young anyway. It's fine. So I'm the type of person that, put everything into my work, really. Meaning my actual job, not really school. I mean, school was the type of thing that would stress me out. So when I, transitioned to online learning because of, events that happened, I was like, this is actually working for me. This is actually working for me. Like, I'm less stressed, I'm able to focus. I can, take breaks when I need breaks. And I mean, I was staring at a screen a lot. I was staring at a screen a lot. I was doing my assignments. Okay, I was like either doing written things. I was either doing like written things when it came to worksheets for classes or something, or I was doing it online, or I was, typing up essays, which, y'all, I did a lot of essays in high school, let me tell you. I also did a college class in high school as well, which, I mean, that was a good experience. Would I do it again? If I could do my senior year over, would I do it again? No, I wouldn't. I would not do it over again, because senior year for me was the most stressful year of my entire life. It was the hardest year ever, and I would never ever do it again. I mean, I prefer online school because you can get ahead of everybody else, you can finish before everyone. Depending on how determined you are, you have to be determined, you have to be hardworking. You can't slack off. Like, I mean, there are videos that say, is online school worth it? Is online school great? And it's like, it depends on the person, it depends on the learning style, it depends on if you're diligent enough to focus. Because in online school, you don't have somebody harping you. You get your assignments. Okay, basically. Okay, some schools do Zoom, other schools don't. And my school didn't. When we transitioned to online school, it's basically what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to call it distance learning. I'm going to call it online school because that's what it was. When my high school transitioned to online school, we didn't have our teachers on us. All the time. We didn't do Zoom. We didn't do like Zoom conferences, or Zoom calls. So we didn't see our teacher. We didn't see our teachers. We basically, how we would communicate with our teachers would be through the Remind app. It's an app where, I mean, basically my high school required us to have Remind on us. And if you guys don't know, Remind is an app that lets you communicate with your, teachers, by texting them or whatever, through the app. And it's a really good app. There's a lot of apps that I used throughout high school. Some of them I still have, some of them I don't. I used Google Apps. I used a lot of Google Apps. I still have them. There are two that I don't have. Mainly because I have no use for them. I have no use for them anymore. And so, there were apps that, we needed to use for school, like an app called Mobile Serve, and that is an app for, to track your community service hours. Now, basically, I've said that I was an academy student, that did community service in high school. And that was actually a grad requirement. So, that was pretty important. We need to have X amount of hours every single year to be able to have it count towards our grad have it count towards graduation. Luckily, I did graduate, so I was fine. But, I did community service for 3 years. Because I was in academy for 3 years. So basically, we needed several apps, Google Classroom was an app that was a thing that we used on a daily basis. Even before I got to high school, we used Google Classroom for grades. We didn't use it for grades, but not every single grade, but I remember I would, a couple weeks after finishing all my classes. Okay, I finished high school in early May. Early May. We were supposed to graduate in May. Technically, I did graduate in May, but I didn't walk until June because it was postponed. It's a whole other story. That's a whole other ordeal. So, as you all know, when I say I struggled in public school, or I just struggled in school in general, I struggled. There were things I didn't necessarily understand. I'd ask for help as it got, as I got older. I'd ask for help, or I'd ask for clarification. But I think it was a time thing. And if I have to go by a deadline, sometimes I get really, really stressed out, and I might not finish on time, and it'll be in an assignment might be late, for example. That's happened to me pretty often. And I remember about, 2 years ago was my sophomore or junior year of high school, and I remember sitting at my computer, sitting at the table on my laptop, having the worst writer's block in the world. And I normally don't suffer from writer's block, But seeing as this was an English assignment that I was struggling with back then, I did, and I did not know what to write about. I was so confused. Or, for example, at the start of my senior year in English, we had an assignment. Okay, I can't remember what it was called really, but I got way deep into it. Okay, one thing about me is I do a lot of research, like medical research sometimes, just because I want to learn things. And I got so deep into an assignment, I don't even think I did it the right way. Like, that's how passionate I was about it, and I don't even think I did it right. So, yeah, like, things that, or reasons why I feel like online school is better is because, I mean, obviously, yes, there are still deadlines that you have to meet. You know, if you're in college or if you're in high school or something like that, you know, there's still deadlines that have to be met, but you can work, you know, you could work at your own pace. You know, you could work on one assignment, you could work on one assignment, and then you could work on another assignment. And if you have free time, you could, like, you know, finish your assignments or take a break or whatever. I mean, it worked out for me. It may not work out for you. It just depends on the person. I actually work better if okay, apparently I work better and I seem to focus better. I seemed to focus a lot better when, you know, online school came around. You know, when we were forced to do online school, I didn't have a problem with it because I'm extremely introverted. I mean, it's gotten better, but I'm an introvert and I like being alone. Um, so, you know, I was able to work at my own pace. There were times that there were times I'd wake up, I'd make myself food, you know, I'd make myself breakfast, like a Pop Tart or something, and, you know, I'd eat my breakfast. I'd, you know, watch YouTube videos. I'd maybe watch one or two YouTube videos, and then get started on school for a couple hours and get done by about, I mean, it depends on, you know, how much I had to do for that day. It all depends. But ways I would wind down and ways that literally got me through high school. No, it wasn't cheating. I would never cheat. You can't cheat in college because if you do, or okay, you can't cheat and you can't plagiarize in college because if you do, you will get kicked out of college. That is coming from my teacher or one of my former teachers who is also a college professor, and they would say that all the time to us. I think even before we did, you know, that college course. And I basically did dual enrollment my senior year. Some people can do dual enrollment their freshman year, and, you know, some people can do dual enrollment, some people AP. I mean, I know people that did AP all through high school, you know, from freshman year all the way to senior year, you know, because they were capable of doing it. And advanced placement courses is basically the equivalent of college in high school. It's the equivalent of being in college in high school. And I didn't do AP. I did a dual enrollment course my senior year because I wanted to. Mainly because my teacher was, encouraging us to do so. So I signed up for it. It was free because it was provided by the school, for free, and everything. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was stressful. I mean, I held an A. I didn't hold an A the entire time because, as I said, dual enrollment is hard. It's very hard, and my teachers knew my strengths and my weaknesses, especially my English teacher. When it came to English, and English is actually one of my favorite subjects. English has always been one of my favorite subjects, even before high school. I've always excelled in English. Like, I've either gotten, averages or above averages. Not exactly straight A's, because I wouldn't say I was a straight A student. But by the end of high school, mind you, I finished high school like weeks in advance, before getting my diploma. I finished my classes weeks in advance before getting my diploma. Like, I finished on May 8th, and I had just celebrated my birthday a couple days before. I had a chill birthday. I didn't have any homework to do, thank gosh. Like, I didn't have homework to do. And the thing about online school is that we didn't have homework. We didn't have homework to do because we'd finish at our own pace. And then we'd continue on, the next day or something like that. But the thing that took me a long time to understand was poetry, because I wasn't let me tell you, I'm not the strongest at poetry. So I had to, I did things from listening to podcasts regarding, I had to do things that were like above and beyond to understand the pieces. Like, for example, I had a poetry assignment when I was in high school, and for my course I was in. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my computer. It's gonna be so much easier once I finally am able to get everything, but it's like a whole process. So, basically what worked for me, because poetry is not my strong point. My strong point is creative writing, as you guys know. It's always been one of my strong points. And, I cherish that to this day, that I always loved creative writing, and it just lets me de-stress and lets me be creative. So, things about online school that I love is that, you could work at your own pace. You cite one thing that may help is setting a schedule. Technically, I didn't really set a schedule. I would just be like, okay, so I mean, basically, if I already finished a class, I would, text my teachers and be like, do I have to do such and such assignment, or do I have to do such and such assignment? And they'd be like, yes or no. And I remember my math class. Okay, I wasn't always the strongest. I wasn't always the strongest at math. Consumer math, I excelled in. I actually loved consumer math so much. It was a class I actually understood. It was probably one of the best classes I've ever taken in my life. Because I actually understood it and I didn't struggle. I mean, I struggled somewhat, but it was a struggle where I could be like, oh, Miss So-and-so, I don't understand this. Can you please clarify? And then, I'd understand it. So basically, I would like get my classes out of the way, and the classes I'd already finished, the more classes I'd already completed, the less classes I'd have to finish. So, I did math. I had my consumer math class. I had my government class, which I loved my government class, by the way, because I've always loved history. Okay, history is one of my favorite subjects. There are some subjects within history that aren't really my favorite because I know way too much about said subject and it scares me to death. Just to talk about it, and if you know what I'm talking about, then that's cool, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not even going to mention it. So, history, I loved history. Mind you, I didn't take history until my junior year of high school because we didn't have to. Oh, wait, no. I took history. I didn't have to take history my freshman year. I took it my sophomore and junior year, though. I was in regular history or whatever regular history was called. I don't know, I think it was world history or something. And then junior year was US history. Okay, I took a lot of classes, okay? I took a lot of classes in high school. I took, integrated science, which is basically beginner science in my freshman year. I took health. I took what was that other class? There was another class that I took besides health because it was like a one semester class. I really cannot remember. I really cannot remember the name of that class. But it was like a one semester. It's like a one semester class. You know how you have classes for like one semester and then you have another class for another semester? Yeah, that's how it worked. So I had three different, or no. I had like four different one semester classes, I guess. I had, health, whatever that class was that I took. I really cannot remember. It was something having to do with. Oh wait, it was career tech. I took a career tech class. That's what it was called. So my freshman year, I took health, career tech, integrated science, which is basically beginner science, math, obviously, English. Okay, I was in college prep English throughout high school, like every single year. I was, automatically put in college prep English. And then, I didn't have to take history. Oh, I also took theater as an elective my freshman year. And, so I think I had 5 classes. Can't remember. Oh wait, no, I had PE as well. I had PE. But we didn't have to take history until sophomore year. And then I had English, I had, all my other classes. I think I went through maybe 2 history teachers. Just some teachers, they had certain methods that I would pick up on quickly or struggle with. And I went through 2 English classes. Well, my sophomore year was when I joined the academy program at my high school. So that's the reason why I kind of switched teachers and switched classes kind of in the middle of high school, I guess, or in the middle of sophomore year, because I was persuaded and convinced to try academy out, and I ended up liking it, and I was in it for 3 years. I had the luxury of having the same teachers for 3 years. Well, some teachers for 3, others for 2. It depended. I had my English teacher. I had my English teacher for 3 years. Some people had her for 4, but I had her for 3. I had my English teacher for 3 years. I had my history teacher / archiving teacher for 2. And oh my gosh, when I tell you I learned so much. Okay, honestly, I learned so much in US history. Mainly because my history teacher at the time knew everything about, or knew quite a lot of things. I don't think he knew every single thing, but he knew quite a lot of things about historical events. And we were the type of people, okay, we were lucky enough, because we were in an academy program, to learn on site as well, through field trips. Like, for example, we went to an internment camp. We went to a Japanese internment camp. And oh my gosh, I learned so much. I learned so much stuff. That was the coolest thing. So, obviously, back to online school. You want to have a schedule. You want to have a schedule. You want to take breaks. Not too many breaks, but you want to take breaks for snacks and lunch, and you want to work in a place where you're not going to get distracted. Mind you, I worked basically where I did every single thing was my dining room table. And I used my dining room table from middle school all the way to high school, basically. I used my dining room table to do my homework from middle school to high school. And I sat at that dining room table for about 7 years. I mean, more if you count private school. But basically, that's where I did all of my homework. I did it at the dining room table. Now, before, I used to do homework in my room. It didn't really work out all that great for me because I'm a person that would get distracted, and I would literally watch Daria. I would watch Daria while doing my homework. Yes, I was that type of person that would watch Daria while doing my homework. And if you guys don't know what Daria is, it is a 90s cartoon that aired on MTV. I'm a 2000s kid that appreciates 90s animation, like South Park and Daria. Daria actually got me through high school. I watched Daria from the start of high school to the end of high school, and that literally helped me get through high school, believe it or not. I know that's crazy, but like people have their things that get them through periods of time in their life. I mean, my dad watched Daria. My dad was a fan of Daria. I mean, it wasn't really around when my dad was in high school, because my dad graduated when Daria, when like Daria was in production. So yeah, I kind of grew up with Daria. So yeah, that was cool. It helped me a lot through high school. So I would literally watch Daria every day. I mean, it's still on Hulu, so I still can watch it, and it's still on MTV.com, so I could still watch it. But yeah, I would watch Daria all the time. It's one of my favorite shows. Was I a fan of Beavis and Butthead? No, I wasn't. I don't think I ever really watched Beavis and Butthead, so I kind of grew up with a lot of spin-offs. I grew up with Daria. I grew up with like a ton of spin-offs. I loved watching South Park. I mean, I still watch South Park to this day. South Park is one of my favorite shows. And then, Bob's Burgers, all those shows. The Simpsons, all those good shows. All those good throwbacks. All the old MTV shows. Y'all, oh my gosh, when I say I cherish old shows, I cherish old shows. I'm not even kidding you. So, yeah, I basically grew up watching Daria in high school. It's kind of how I got through high school. I would watch, I would watch Sabrina, Sabrina the animated series, Sabrina Secrets of a Teenage Witch, Sabrina's Secret Life. And I actually started watching Sabrina's Secret Life when I was in junior high. So yeah, a lot of shows got me through high school. So yeah, obviously, in school you want to have a schedule. You want to stick to it. You want to finish at a certain time, but obviously make sure that you're at a good stopping point to actually finish. And don't sit there and slack off. basically, online school worked for me. You know, had the I had the pleasure of coming back to work in early May, and I was only doing online school for like 2 months, and I was able to pass my classes. You know, I passed all my classes. I'd kind of asked my teachers about my grades, but it was kind of a peer F kind of thing. It's kind of how they are doing things now, pass or fail system instead of letter grades. I mean, they'd still do percentages, obviously, but it was kind of like a peer F kind of thing. So on your report card and on your transcript, it would be like if you pass or failed, and I obviously passed. I'm glad I did because senior year was really stressful. So obviously, if you want to have a schedule, you want to work on as many assignments as you possibly can for each class to at least get a head start, and then don't spend your entire day on school. At least take a break. Like, basically how I would take breaks is I would take breaks by writing and doing all that, doing all that type of stuff to kind of, take my head out of my assignment for a little bit so that I could, take a break, get a breather, get some water, maybe get some snacks. Snacks are very, very important. I would eat so many granola bars. It was kind of my thing to start having granola bars for breakfast in quarantine. There are a lot of things I started having for breakfast in quarantine, like I would eat cucumbers every day for breakfast. Basically, that's my thing. I would eat cucumbers and granola bars and Little Bites muffins for breakfast because I would just eat little snacks for breakfast. Or I would eat Pop-Tarts for breakfast. And I'm not much of a Pop-Tart person, but I love Pop-Tarts now. I freaking love Pop-Tarts. Some Pop-Tarts taste better in the toaster, and others taste better without being in the toaster, or some both. Preferably the ones with filling in them, like the strawberry filling. That tastes so much better if it's in the toaster. Luckily for me, I know how to use a toaster oven. And probably one day I'd probably get one of those. Like, I'd probably either invest in a toaster oven or get one of those little, like, high-tech, those high-tech toasters that are, like, all over TikTok that can be for, like, toast or pastry, toast or pastries or whatever. It's basically this toaster that's, like, part computer, and it's a really cool toaster. I have to look it up. It looks like a regular toaster, but it's like one of those high-tech toasters that's kind of equipped for every single thing, like, toast and bagels and pastries and a ton of other things. But the main thing that I would cook in the toaster, because I would never be able to find the bread, was Pop-Tarts. And I think peanut butter bread or peanut butter toast would taste so good. Peanut butter toast would taste so, so good. I also love avocado toast. Avocado toast is one of my favorites. Or, sourdough bread with butter. Oh my gosh. I'm making myself hungry. So, yeah. Literally how I would start my day was I would make myself breakfast, or I would, grab a granola bar and I would grab a granola bar and, a couple other breakfasty food snacks. Sometimes I'd even have donuts for breakfast. And, those little mini donuts. Sometimes I'd have little mini donuts for breakfast, or actual donuts for breakfast. And yeah, I'd eat my breakfast, I'd watch YouTube and I'd do school for a couple hours, and then I'd be done by probably noon to 1 to 2 o'clock, or maybe 1 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It all depends. But if I actually did traditional online school instead of, virtual school, it would be different. So yeah, that's just kind of my take on it. I didn't mean for this video to be so long, but I mean, it's fine. I'm going to go and probably get myself some breakfast. I mean, I may eat actual breakfast. It depends on how I'm feeling, but I'm kind of feeling some muffins and some granola bars for breakfast. And probably even a Pop-Tart. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna have for breakfast. It's 10:18, so it's still technically breakfast time. So yeah, with that said, I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to like, comment, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!